Hey, welcome to Isekai Manhwa Recap. In this video, we'll be covering Chapter 1 to 4 of the Manhwa series, Soul Station Druid. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be sure you don't miss the next episodes. The narrative opens with a young man named Suho exchanging messages with his mother. Like most individuals in his age group, Suho enjoys spending time with his friends. However, today he won't be able to join them as he has been obligated to attend a birthday celebration against his wishes. Unfortunately, he accidentally collides with someone and is reprimanded by a total stranger. Suho apologizes, but he feels internally humiliated and ashamed by the situation. Suho tries to redirect his focus to the present situation, but suddenly a lightning bolt descends upon the city, causing widespread destruction and chaos. The lightning pierces through everything in its path. However, that was just the start. The entire sky was soon ablaze with lightning, ready to wreak havoc on the entire city. And in just a few seconds, it was all over. Suho is unaware of the events transpiring. All he can see is death and destruction all around him. He tries to escape by running at full speed, but suddenly he sees a truck barreling towards him, a split second away from taking his life. To his shock, Suho wakes up, but he is in a completely unfamiliar place and doesn't recognize his surroundings. All he sees is the night sky with two moons and strange creatures he's never encountered before. He discovers that he is naked in an entirely different world and has no idea how he got there or who brought him. He is left with many questions, but no answers. Before he can fully grasp the situation, a bear threatens his life, but Suho once again manages to survive through a stroke of luck. This time, it was a pack of wolves who brutally hunted the bear, a sight that Suho has never witnessed before. The reality of it all is too much for him to believe and he struggles to accept what he's seeing with his own eyes. In the face of it all, survival is the only thing that matters, and Suho flees as fast as he can. He doesn't know where his journey will take him, but he knows he must keep running. Suddenly, he hears a voice that informs him that his constitution has increased by 1. The unexpected voice startles Suho, causing him to stumble and fall to the ground. Suho struggles to get back up, and he feels hunger pangs. He discovers that he is surrounded by fruits, but he is unsure if they are safe to eat. Despite his reservations, Suho takes a bite of the fruit. However, just as he begins to eat, he hears a sound that puts him on high alert. In the wild forest, every sound is a potential danger. As he cautiously investigates the source of the noise, he sees someone hiding behind the grass, ready to attack. Before Suho can react, a giant snake strikes first. The snake's jaws are inches away from taking Suho's life, but due to a twist of fate, the predator becomes the prey of a higher predator in the food chain. In just a matter of minutes, Suho has almost lost his life twice in this mysterious place, and he knows that miracles cannot save him every time. He must develop the skills and knowledge necessary to survive, as every day is a competition for survival, and only the strong will survive. 66 days pass, and Suho is still alive, but just barely. He is constantly being pursued by a pack of wolves. Suho has become stronger and more skilled in surviving in this mysterious world. He is constantly working on improving himself and staying alive despite the dangers that surround him. However, the challenges don't stop, and he still has to face new dangers every day. He has learned that survival is the only thing that matters, and he is determined to keep fighting for it. Suho knows that he needs to be prepared for the worst, as he has learned from his past experiences in this mysterious world. He watches the gorilla closely and assesses the situation, ready to act if needed. The gorilla stops in front of Suho, and for a moment, they just stare at each other. Suho doesn't know what the gorilla wants, but he remains cautious, waiting for the next move. Suho is now facing a battle of life and death, but after gaining experience over the past year, he is confident that he can survive and save himself without relying on a miracle. The massive size of the gorilla causes it to fall from a tree. Upon landing, the gorilla realizes that it nearly killed a wolf, who is now seeking revenge. Just like any predator in the wild, the gorilla doesn't tolerate a weaker animal challenging it. The gorilla lets out a loud scream in an attempt to intimidate the wolf, but the wolf is determined not to back down. The gorilla launches an attack on the wolf, but its initial strike isn't enough to take the wolf's life, so it must strike again. Before the gorilla can strike again, Suho intervenes and plunges his weapon into the gorilla's eye, causing it to become even more enraged. The wolf takes the opportunity to flee, but Suho is left to face the now even more furious gorilla, which is determined to take his life. Despite the fact that the doctors are skeptical of Suho's tale of encountering two moons and giant creatures, something about his story piques their interest. The doctor inquires as to why Suho would attempt to engage in combat with the gorilla when he knew that he was no match for it. To Suho's surprise, the white wolf unexpectedly attacks the gorilla in an effort to save him. Suho is shocked and can hardly believe what he is witnessing, as the same animal that had sought to kill him the previous year is now putting its own life on the line to save him. As the rest of the pack joins the attack on the gorilla, Suho is stunned to see that the wolves who once threatened his life are now coming to his aid. He loses consciousness but is not attacked, as the wolf pup he had saved was the son of the pack's king. The wolf honors Suho's bravery by not attacking him. In the following year, Suho Suho joins the pack of wolves and is accepted by them as one of their own. He no longer feels alone in this strange world, even though the wolves are animals. As the years pass, Suho transforms from a scared and weak boy into a fierce warrior, fearless in the face of danger. He becomes a devoted member of the pack and is ready to do anything for his family of wolves. Together they hunt down a boar, which is an easy task for them. Although Suho has been searching for other humans like himself for hundreds of years, he is yet to find any. He has made many new companions in the form of wolves and has also lost some. He never could have imagined that he would be able to survive for so long in this wild world, but he is now stronger than ever. The doctor finds Suho's story to be the most fascinating he has ever heard, as no human can live for 500 years and become the king of the wolves. He comes back to his own world after hundreds of years, and everyone is shocked to see him alive. The girl with the sword, who later introduced herself as the protector of the city, was even more surprised to see Suho. Suho's surroundings were charged with immense energy, indicating that a portal had opened and swiftly closed. When it dissipated, Suho was found naked on the ground, with the others viewing it as a routine occurrence, referring to him as just another returner. Upon awakening, Suho was in a hospital receiving treatment, with a doctor recording his testimony for the Awakener Bureau. The doctor informed Suho that he was in good health and would be discharged soon. However, Suho halted the doctor before he could leave, asking if he could talk to him. With a smile, Suho thanked the doctor, as he was the first human he had spoken to in thousands of years. The doctor smiled back, acknowledging the value of Suho's information. At the headquarters of the Awakener Bureau, the girl who nearly killed Suho is seen in conversation with her boss. They discuss a unique F-rank patient, who turns out to be Suho. The boss explains that if Suho was classified as an E-rank patient, the government would have offered him various benefits. The girl questions how an F-rank patient was able to pass through a portal. The boss attributes it to pure luck. He then displays the report from the doctors who interacted with Suho. The report notes that Suho displays behaviors similar to a wolf and is struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder, which is typical among first responders. The girl decides to personally deliver the report, hoping to verify something about Suho. At the hospital, Suho remains lost in his thoughts, grappling with the reality of his thousands of years spent in a strange world and his sudden return to Earth. Despite being back for 2 weeks, Suho still finds it difficult to adjust. He yearns to return to the beautiful and wild world he once called home, along with his companions. He misses the thrill of adventure and the constant dangers that surrounded him, but at the same time, he cherished his time spent there. The nurse enters the room and informs Suho that it's time for lunch, and Suho realizes he is hungry. He puts aside his introspection and prepares to eat. The Awakener Bureau girl walks in and finds Suho in an unusual posture. She introduces herself as Choi Soo-young. Suho immediately recognizes her scent and, with the aid of her blonde hair, recalls having seen her before. Choi Soo-young explains that she was the first person Suho saw upon returning from the portal, and she recalls the predatory look in his eyes at that time. However, Suho now appears vastly different, no longer posing a threat. Suho inquires about the Awakener Bureau, to which Choi Soo-young explains that it's an organization that helps individuals like Suho, who have returned from a portal, reintegrate into society. Choi Soo-young then requests Suho to sign a consent form for sharing information. However, Suho is more fascinated by the pen, having not held one in thousands of years, rather than the actual form. Suho forgets how to use the pen and instead starts drawing a wolf with it, causing annoyance for Choi Soo-young. Despite understanding that Suho is a student, she finds his behavior to be unacceptable. Choi Soo-young questions if Suho is able to draw, to which Suho explains that he already knows how. Expecting such a response, she then asks what he learned during his time in the other world. Suho informs her that there was no magic or sorcery, and survival relied solely on physical strength and intelligence. Choi is disappointed as she feels that Suho did not utilize his time in the other world effectively. Suho attempts to correct her, explaining that he was there for thousands of years, not just 10. However, Choi reminds him that he went missing in 2015 and has now returned in 2025. Choi then presents Suho with his Awakener Bureau ID card, which contains personal and crucial information about him. Choi suggests that Suho reunite with his family soon, as he learns that they are still alive. This gives Suho a new purpose in life, as he thought his family was gone forever, but now he has the opportunity to see them again.